Hey there, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. I hope that you are having a bright and beautiful one wherever you are. And remember, if it ain't bright and beautiful, then you make it that way. You make that day coincide with what you want it to be, my dear friends. I do hope you're all well and happy. I've got a couple of new journals to go in the shop today. Again, I really appreciate your support over at the Etsy store. I'm kind of getting back into making some of our art supply books. This one is just a favorite fabric. It has crowns and hearts on it, and I thought that this would be a nice little tribute to Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II. So we'll take a look at this one first. This is new fabric. It's Japanese lanterns. I really do love it. Would like to send a big shout out to thank you, Miss C, for sending along these gorgeous fabrics for us to work with. Hey, speaking of fabrics, yesterday I went to Michael's and by golly, they've got fabric in there now, and it looks so odd because that's where the yarn used to be, and it's like, well, what'd you do with the yarn? But I don't typically buy yarn. I would kind of like to buy yarn. I'd love to know how to knit or crochet or something like that. I finished this art supply book with a sweet little bead strand, and if you notice, the little beads on it are diamond shaped, and we do have these tiny hearts, these blue hearts with a rhinestone in the middle. So I just thought it really kind of fit the theme of this journal. Prince Philip met Queen Elizabeth when she was 13 years old, and I think about the loss that she must feel as her, really he was her life companion, and I know that she is so sad that he is not with her anymore, but also so glad that he made his transition. I did not know that. Do you see what I'm doing here? This piece of washi tape came up. And please pay no attention to my fingernails. I have no fingernails anymore because I'm gardening when the weather permits, and it hasn't permitted very much lately, so I went out there and dug in the mud today. Yes, I did. Queen Elizabeth, 13 years old, he was her like true soulmate because he basically had to spend most of his life walking 2 feet behind her. You couldn't walk beside her. And what a really weird thing that must have been for, the person that you love to not be able to approach them or hold their hand in public or anything like that. Remember that when we are talking about art supply journals, we're talking about the basic building blocks of any sort of mixed media project. Now, whether you're making mixed media canvas or art trading cards or art trading coins or just mixed media cards, we love mixed media, don't we? We love the layers of paper and ribbon and text pages and focal imagery and things like that. And these books are chock full of them. This is some great vintage cluster material right here, and there's even a bit of pattern paper in the back and this funky fabric ribbon right here. Anytime you see something put onto a page with a paper clip, y'all, that's a cluster. You think about these wonderful clusters that people are doing. You just kind of slam some things together and call it a cluster, and I love it. That's super cool to me. I love the idea of it. It's the clusters in these art supply journals they're curated. You can take out the cluster and sit with a glue stick or your favorite adhesive and some scissors, or do like me and just tear stuff out and create whatever you want to, if it's a bookmark, a tag, or whatever you want to create. This is this is a fun cluster because it already has the art trading coin up here for you as your substrate. And it has 1, 2, 3 kinds of paper that actually kind of match the art trading coin blank. And they're super collage-y. They're fun collage items. Vintage text that I have altered. I really love to alter vintage text. We have magazine pages. Magazine pages are, you can take something like this, which is a magazine page, and you can completely alter it, and then use something like this as the front of a greeting card or something like that. I really do love food photography. I kind of got away from that for a little while, but I started incorporating it back into these supply journals. I really love the gardening catalogs because they are a perfect weight of paper for collage. Another little altered piece right here. It's got a little bit of sticky right there. A little fold out right there. Love this vintage, they're picking apples up there, vintage photo. And these are painted envelopes, painted junk mail envelopes. We don't waste a lot here. We don't waste food, we don't waste resources, we don't waste magazines, we don't waste anything. Everything is kind of recycled and put into another use. Chris was, this time last year, Chris was making all the stepping stones and dividing stones that we use in the garden. He, was right in the midst of COVID and he wasn't working, but, he used his resources, what we had, and created these beautiful stepping stones for our garden and for our backyard areas. It was really brilliant. Remember, these books also have substrates in them. They have bookmarks, tags, art trading card, blanks. You can, the reason that I think that these books are super handy is that you need nothing else. You've got cardstock in here, you've got images in here, you've got painty papers in here, you've got magazine pages in here, you've got altered text, you've got vintage text. You've got what you need to create with. And I think a book like this is so much fun, in the morning as a warm-up or in the evening as a cool down. It's a great look. In the morning now, it used to be my favorite time to come up here and work, but since we got our new puppy, he really requires a lot of time, effort, energy, and sitting with. In the morning, I wake up early. He has let me sleep till 7:30, which is awesome, which is a whole lot better than 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's the way it was for a while. And then he moved from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock and now 5 o'clock to 7:30. So I'm like over the moon happy at being able to sleep just a little bit longer. He does not like to be alone. And if I leave him alone downstairs, he tends to cry, and then he tries to get back in the bed with Chris, and Chris is a late sleeper because he's a musician. So I have to sit downstairs with my buddy, which is fine. Mia's a late sleeper too. She's not an early riser. So what I was getting at was, I've been using my personal flow journal downstairs because it's kind of an all-in-one, all-inclusive sort of book to create with, and I don't have to come upstairs and grab my art supplies or anything. I can just do what I do with my, don't you love that photo right there? Do what I do with a glue stick and some scissors, and that's really nice. Very nice to be able to do that. I've also taken that opportunity to listen to podcasts, and I've started reading a great book called Childhood's End, which is by Arthur C. Clarke. It was written in 1953. Really, really interesting, especially in conjunction with Chris and I watching Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind last night. That was really good, you guys. If you like things like that, now I'm a child of the, the space age. Things like that, I don't think we are alone at all in the universe. And that sort of movie, I loved the concepts in it. I love the expansiveness of the dialogue in it. It was just really, really, really interesting. And, if you're into that kind of thing, you might want to check it out. It was a lot of fun to watch. Like Chris said, I feel a sales pitch coming on, and it was like, yeah, kind of feel like that too, but it you didn't quite get the pitch, but at the end of the movie, it was like, now you want to find out more, and you want to go to the website, and, it's one of those, so people go out in the desert or to the ocean and collectively meditate to vector in light beings. So to me, me being me, it was like wildly interesting. Chris is a bit skeptical about things like that. But having seen stuff like that when I assisted my friend with paranormal investigations, it's like, I am not a skeptic. No, I totally believe in that. So there we go. We'll call this Prince Philip. Very, such a dedicated man. This is some new fabric. Again, thanks a lot to Miss C for sending it along. It is Japanese lanterns. I've finished it off with a super colorful bead strand here. I did go to Michael's yesterday, y'all, and get some beads in that little mini haul video that I showed y'all. What fun that was. I had not been to Michael's in a long time. I think the last time I went was maybe in January. I have not been in a long time. It maybe has been more recent. I don't know. I can't remember. It was fun to go in there. It was really cool to see fabric. I don't buy big swatches of fabric, but it was fun to look at it and to know that they did have fabric there. That was kind of cool. Again, you've got all kinds of images. You've got your focal images, your background images, you've got color, you've got creativity just oozing out of the pages. Only you can bring that creativity to life, my dear friends. And we are all unique souls and unique beings. So when we get a book like this, it's an expression of ourselves. We just give you the tools to find those paths, those creative paths for yourself. Magazine imagery, food imagery, vintage coupons. I love this ribbon here, and you've got a brad to play with, some Prima flowers. All of this is a curated cluster. It all goes together. This is from a book called The Body by Time Life Encyclopedias. A little bit of cooking, vintage text pages, painty papers. You can do a lot with painty papers. You can get a painty paper and you don't have to drag out your paints. Yay! Put some graph paper here for you. I really love the way that this whole pocket came together. There's a wonderful quote up here by Dimitri Martin that says, "The key to life is balance," especially if you are on a ledge. How many of us have felt rather like we are on a ledge here lately? I sure do. I thought that maybe 2021 would be different than 2020, but it's like, kind of the same old here. More painty papers for you, magazine images. This is, Miss C sent this along too. It's like a tree, I can't think of it now. Diadendric painting. It's done with pieces of glass. Like with the 2 pieces of glass, it's like printmaking, only you use glass. Like Shannon Green did it, and she used glass that came in some photo frames. It's really cool. Chris changed strings, and we're the beneficiaries of his string changes. I love those earthwood strings. These are Ernie Ball. I love the artwork on there. I have some fabric here for you to play around with. And don't forget, you've got fabric up here, fiber up here. You've got paper clips that you can utilize to build something. And these books are also, they're journal prompts. You know, you think about, these are stickers and they go on here. So you can reuse those stickers on that little piece. Someone sent that to me and it was like, oh my goodness, I know what I'm going to do with that. You've also got articles to read. A little bit of puzzles, graph paper, maps. Maps are very, to me, maps evoke memories. You know, where did you go? When did you go? Why did you go? Did you meet someone there? Would you like to have met someone there? That sort of thing. You know, you can think of a dozen questions when you, or I can, when you see an image, you can, to me, an image, maybe that's being a songwriter. An image, when I see an image, immediately makes words flash in my head. And that might just be, you know, kind of like a songwriting thing. This was wrapping paper that I got at Michael's after Christmas sale. It's craft paper, and it's like got squares on it. Love it. Vintage recipes, vintage cover from the Maine Farmer's Almanac from 1963. And when I say vintage, I mean vintage. I don't mean like a printable that I've put in here. The printables are super nice. So many people make gorgeous printables. I am not that smart. Writing paper in here. This is a little cluster that has an insect and several things that you could use to make a really nice piece of mixed media if you wanted to. And pockets filled with things to play with. There's Seuss. He has the funniest bark, y'all. Kind of howls. He's a bloodhound. This is from 1978 Mad magazine. I think it was 1978. Might have been a little bit earlier. This is from the Edison Encyclopedia. I adhered these maps. Now this is a map of Arkansas onto some vintage text. So that really did work out really well. You know, addresses. It's fun to recapitulate. Can you remember your first address, your second address, your third address, your fourth address? Where did you live? When did you live there? How long did you live there? What were the things you remember about living there? Why did you move? Was it a happy move or a sad move? Everything is a story. Every facet of your life is a story. This is vintage, a kid's crafting magazine. This is a vintage photo. Look at that sweet baby. And there we go. Big books filled with all kinds of creative fodder for you. Prince Philip. and Japanese lanterns. These will go in the shop a little later on today. And I'm working on more things for the shop that are not journals, that are not art books or books of any kind. So just stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Sunday. See you soon. Bye.